Hi, what's up everyone? Welcome to my channel. If you didn't know already, my name is Carmen. I am a music producer and artist as well. I'm an indie producer based here in Cape Town, South Africa. So today we're going to have a look at the indie artists on the Discord server called Track Team. So this is basically just a server where a lot of indie artists come to kind of collaborate and share their work, and it really helps them to kind of grow. And we're going to see if we can criticize their work in a constructive way. That is by no means telling them that their music is bad. But yeah, as a common disclaimer, I am not by any means an authority on these. I'm just going to share from my personal experience and from my growth and my journey in music, and try to see where I can give constructive criticism and input on the songs based on what I already know. Now, I'm not always correct, and you might know more than I do. That is perfectly fine. This is a growing environment, and we are trying to help people and help the community grow and learn more as they journey into music production and being artists themselves. So yeah, I'll try to link all of the artists that I mentioned in the description below, but I'm also screen capturing these artists. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's see what we can learn together. And yeah, if you're interested in my music is linked down below. And yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna listen to here, let's just maximize this. Okay, so it's from this artist called Natagumo. Right, Natagumo, let's hear what you have. So these are self-promos. So these are purportedly finished. I have this hair that is super frustrating. What is happening? Where is this hair coming from? Alright. So, Natagumo, let's see what you have. Okay. Kinda organ, synthy. Okay, kind of 8-bit. Uh-huh. Okay. So off the bat, I'm picking up on some mixing issues already, particularly with the 808 or the bass that he or she added. So yeah, honestly, they're typically trying to recreate some hip hop type beat, which is cool. I see they say Rich Amari type beat. Now I don't know Rich Amari, but yeah, I'm assuming it sounds more or less like that. The criticism that I would give is particularly the mixing. I feel like some of the elements don't really mix well together and they feel very separate. So if you can maybe add a glue compression to some of the elements, or maybe do some EQing to help them either separate a bit more in terms of their actual frequency spaces, then that might really elevate your music. Also, it's kind of flat in terms of the production, so everything's very there, kind of like too mono, right? So it really gives a video game vibe, which is, if that is specifically what you're going for, good. But when we're looking at like me wearing headphones, I want to kind of be able to feel the entire stereo spectrum based on the production that you give. And I feel like this is kind of missing out on some of that really interesting elements that you could add in your stereo space. So maybe adding a bit of panning here and there, and maybe some interesting elements, maybe chimes, or maybe even a lower element like a sub bass that kind of just brings the rest of the elements to life. Maybe that can really help. What I like to compliment though is the structure. I think the structure is really good. I think it's solid. So the idea is pretty good. Yeah. I think work on it. I think it'll improve a lot. Yeah, definitely not the worst I've ever heard. That's for sure. So yeah, on to the next. So the next one we're gonna listen to is Young Shroomy. All right, it's called Raven Nightshade. So let's have a listen.
Hello, monkeys!
All right. Okay, so there are two specific things that I'd like to mention, at least in this song. First, mixing specifically. Again, I feel like a lot of the elements don't really necessarily work. Like there's a doon 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 and in the background. It's a cool sound on its own, but mixed with this, it doesn't really work. I also think it kind of clashes with the other melodies. I think you have like 3, maybe even 4 melodies that are trying to compete with the listener's attention. So maybe having less is more in this case. Also, the mixing of the punchy 808 kind of boom, boom, boom. It's cool, but it's also very flat. I think you can really add a lot more. Let me just kind of hear again. Yeah, so you can add a limiter or maybe even a compressor on that to really kind of bring it up. Also, kind of reduce the dynamics of the bass sound, but it's not really bass, and that's kind of where it lacks. So because it's not really bass, it sits closer to the mid-range sections, even almost very close to the mid-range sections. And because you have different sounds that also layer within that mid-bass sections or the mid-range, it clashes with other frequencies, so it becomes muddy. So all you need to do is EQ a lot of your instruments correctly, and that'll really help separate the different instruments and sounds into their appropriate spectrums. And then already you'll have a cleaner mix. Yeah, in terms of structure, again, melodies, try to reduce the number of melodies that you have in this song. And I think it needs a better chord structure, something that really grounds it. There isn't really one specific thing that grounds it to build from that, because really music is just building from a singular point of entry. So if you have your chord progression and your bass line, those are usually, at least in my opinion, the ground level or the foundation that you would build on. And then you have the melodies and the hi-hats and everything on top. And everything else in between, your vocals or whatever, that would be... Why is my phone going off? Sorry. But everything in between is just, yeah, that is kind of the meat of the burger, and everything else is how you build it. So yeah, next one. Let's listen. Negus. I remember that meme. Negus. All right, let's listen to the preview.
From the underground demon, light speed, nigga, I am beaming. While all you niggas looking like I'm just busy peeing. While all you niggas bound down, I'm just busy peeing on.
Okay, yeah, again, there isn't really something that grounds it. It needs better mixing. It needs something to really bring out some of the sounds, specifically maybe adding some reverb to some of the elements, or maybe some interesting effects that really catches your ear. And some of it is very it's very noisy. Like it tries to fight for your attention over the vocals. Like the vocals are already very rapid. If you listen to hip hop, right, it's basically a good bass structure with a melody, and then hi-hats, and then that's more or less it, right, or a single loop element. Hip hop usually isn't that busy in terms of percussive sounds like EDM or electronica. So yeah, because the lyric structure is like very rapid, and then you also have the percussive, it just really like you can't really pay attention to anything that's happening, so you need to ground that and then add your vocals in the middle to really like center that, make the focus your vocals. The vocals can also have maybe a little bit of reverb, and maybe like some sort of drive on it, to maybe like a tube distortion, just like very slightly, just to kind of bring it out from the mix, just to elevate that. And then structurally speaking, there isn't much that I can really pick up on the structure. It's very loose, very I'm not really sure exactly how to explain the structure. It's but keep working at it. I'm sure you'll do fine. Yeah. All right, next, Kony. Okay, let's listen. It's called Pashanim. Already you can see from the previous things that I've mentioned, this already encapsulates what I'm trying to say. So it has a bass structure and it has a piano melody, dun 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 dun, and I hope that didn't pick up on the mic, but yeah, that already makes it much better, and it already kept my focus. So the bass, I think, is really good. You can maybe add some more elements that really drive the texture and the emotion of the song, but so far so good. I don't hear too much that is really sticking out so far. Okay. I'm in anticipation for like what's next, what's gonna happen. Is this going to go somewhere? Okay, so you have a good baseline. I think it's a good like starting block. Now you need to build upon that. Music is all about tension and release, right? If you're going to entice someone and tell them that something is going to happen, you need to give payoff. It's not just a repetitive loop all the time. So if you're starting with the bass, bam, ba da bam, give a break, maybe add some cymbals and something like, and then bring a riser in, and then bring it with a different melody, and maybe some different elements to really like punch in on what you're trying to create. But keep on creating. Kony, right? Let's do one last one. All right, Beats by Free the Kid. All right, so this actually let's try to find one where it's not a type of beat, right? Let's try to find something that's a bit more. Okay, let's see. This Future type beat, Drake type beat, just Haunted. Okay, this is a full song. All right, already a good start. I love the piano. I love the piano. I love the ambience. It has this synth pad, boom, boom. It's like really, it brings out the atmosphere of the song. Really good. Already has my attention. You're like, okay, what's gonna happen? Like you're in anticipation of what's gonna happen next.
I see my niggas, I'm haunted, cause I know they ain't coming back. For that little hoe, every time I know she running back. I want the 30 round double stack, no drum with that. Even my granddad keep that fire, man, you dumb to lack. Say you been through hell, nigga, you my son for that. Heavy artillery on my side, and know we gone for that. You wasn't with me when I was bummy, you was just laughing. Take a nigga, I take a nigga, then that shit's subtraction. Fuck your set, little bitch, called family, that's my faction. 12 gon' make you fold with them basic tactics. I was posted right by that part like giraffe.
Alright, okay, so I'm not gonna watch anymore. This one's probably the best one I've heard so far today. So there is definitely some work to be done in terms of maybe the production side. I think what you have is already quite solid. Maybe build upon that. Try to focus a bit more on refining the mix, doing a proper master, getting someone to master your mix for you. I'm not sure who produced this, whether you produced this yourself. The vocal performance is good, but it does need something. I think so far it's interesting, but then it becomes flat over time because it follows the same flow. If you look at other rappers or hip-hop artists, they try to mix up the flow every now and again. Sometimes even almost every stanza that they have, they just mix the flow. If you listen to Logic or even Ren, they have insane flexibility when it comes to producing new flows. But yeah, I think what you're doing is really great. Keep on creating, and yeah, I think that's all from my side, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any specific comments, commentary, anything that I could have improved, anything that I missed that you may have heard, please add it in the comments. We are all here to learn. We are all here to create, and have a good one. Check you guys later.
I'm just a boy with hellfire.